And now, to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, Season 6, Episode 12, titled Devils Goaltending, Vanecek, Schmid, and Blackwood. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Beer Baron and Shorts Guy. Scotty's out on assignment at Comic-Con.
Yeah, nerd. I wish I was there too.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a nerd too.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Back to the Future stuff. Our good friend of the podcast, Pete Canarosi, was part of Comic-Con. He was actually he did something with Thundercats back in the 80s.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember him saying that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And he did a lot of virtual stuff with them, which I thought was cool. Yeah.
It is cool.
It's definitely very cool.
Yeah.
So goaltending situation, huh? We got what a weird conversation, because last year it was like I think we were on our 6th or 7th goaltender at this point. And it was like,
yeah, right.
It was like, who can we trade for? Like, how can we resolve our goaltending woes? And now we sit here with a right now. Good. I'm knocking on wood because I don't want to jinx any of this. We're sitting here with two solid goaltenders in Blackwood who started out the season pretty well. Hopefully, going to come back and do that. What is your take here, there, Shorts Guy?
It's an embarrassment of riches right now, is what I would call it, especially compared to last year. Holy crap! Yeah, you were you're spot on. I don't know if we were exactly at that number with the goaltenders, but last year we had. We were going through goalies, like we couldn't keep one on the ice, and we kept bringing in Band-Aids. And here we have two guys that can go out and get a win, whether from the start or in relief, and a third guy coming back that can also get us a win from the start or relief. Yeah. So it becomes a situation. It seems to be it's Vanecek's net. And Blackwood's going to have to prove if he is worthy of taking it away from him, or if he can achieve that. And Schmid has absolutely earned his place to stay on the roster. Coming in and doing what he's needed to. I saw. I can't remember if it was an official rumor and an official possibility or a fan possibility, but the potential of maybe offering Blackwood up to a team like Vancouver that needs a goaltender in the worst way, that is in the opposite situation that we are. So and that one in particular is a little bit tempting, and it's probably why the rumor was floated, because that could be bringing Quinn into the fold potentially in some kind of a trade.
Yeah, that's a really interesting take on it too, because I don't know. Recently, Lindy Ruff went up to Fabian Zetterlund and Jesper Boquist and said, "It's time to find an apartment, boys. Stop renting. Stop living in a hotel. It's time to settle down and you have a home right now."
Yeah.
You could say the same for Akira Schmid if he keeps playing the way he is, because I don't think that those rumors are going to be so far-fetched going forward. The only problem is Blackwood has to be able to come back if this is true. If the Devils are looking to move him, he has to come back and he has to prove that he could stay healthy. So I wouldn't expect it to happen right away. But
no, absolutely not.
If they do find themselves in a situation where they're like, hey, you know what? He's expendable. It looks like VTech is, he's here to keep the number one job, and it feels like Akira Schmid is knocking on the door for at least 1B right now. I mean, it's a good problem to have, but at the same time, we've seen it before. We saw it with Blackwood earlier this year. An injury could derail, a lot of different things. So is it worth putting Schmid back down in the AHL and keeping Blackwood as the Vanecek Blackwood 1A, 1B and just let that ride out until the end of the year? Or do you trade Blackwood because you're like, whatever, we have it figured out? Because what if something, God forbid, happens to somebody where you need to stick with one of those guys?
Yeah, it's one of those situations where you just kind of have to. First of all, this is why we're not getting paid millions of dollars to make these decisions.
I wish.
Yeah, seriously. And two, it's one of those things where you're right. We have to see if Blackwood can come back and play like he was playing. And his biggest problem over his entire career so far has been injuries or injury-like situations. With that the situation, what was it, last year, the year before, where no one was quite sure exactly what he had, but he was out. He had the heel, but there was the rumor of didn't want to get vaccinated or what have you.
Oh, that too.
So anyway, it's an interesting situation, and I guess we'll see when he eventually does get a start again, how he looks. And I don't know, maybe it's a situation that we're not happy that neither of the three of us are going to make this decision, and I'm glad I don't have that stress, because it would be a tough one to do, because you're hoping that Vanecek is going to stay healthy too, because that's always the risk when you have a 1 or 1A or a 1A, 1B, whatever the hell you want to call it, and you trade one of them away, you're risking you're an injury away from a problem. But then you have to think, okay, well, does Akira Schmid have the full faith and confidence of the coaching staff in the front office as well? Because he's sure damn played his way into his current role over the last couple of weeks, which is wild.
5-0.
See him doing that. 5-0. Isn't Vanecek, wasn't he 10-2 or something like that? I thought I saw on the
Schmid's save percentage is almost 95%.
That's wild.
It's wild.
That's
crazy.
So different from last year. It's just such a different situation from last year.
Well, we tried to get to 70% last year.
Well, it took us. I think it took us 56 games to win 20 last year, and it took us 25 to win 20 this year. So, yeah, you could say this year is a hell of a lot different. But what's also a big difference is the timely saves. And it felt like last year the Devils would score, and then boom, the other team would answer, or it would be like, oh man, we're clinging onto that 1-goal lead. That Predators game had that stench, that whiff of last year, because
Mm-hmm.
15 seconds left, the puck is deep in the zone. It goes behind the net, and I'm like, damn it, this doesn't feel right. This feels like last year, and a shot from the point finds its way in, and they tie up the game with like 8.4 seconds left or something like that. We go into overtime, losing overtime relatively quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I was pissed off after that game and like really bummed out. And it really wasn't Vanecek's fault, but at the same time, that was like what we would go through all the time last year. That was last year in a nutshell. And then they bounced back against the Flyers, not their best game. And
but they find a way.
They find a way, and they got outshot by the Flyers, which is insane, because that never, they've been out shooting everybody this year, but they get outshot by the Flyers. But Schmid came in and he held his own, and he kept them in the game the entire time, and that's all you need. Now that's all you need. Yeah.
It's we can't fault Vanecek for the feelings that we had from last year. It's a whole different situation.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, it's last year that was the situation is we'd get late in games and we weren't going to get that save, and we knew we weren't going to get that save because we didn't have a goaltender that was confident enough to make that save. Now we have two goaltenders that are confident enough to make those saves, and a team that has the confidence that has a lot to do with the team confidence. When the team has confidence, when you're the goaltender and you have the confidence to make that stop, then the team has confidence because they know that they can push forward, knowing that if they, for some reason, miss their mark, you're back there. So that's a confidence boost for the entire team. And that's worth its weight in gold, especially in the situation we're finding ourselves in. It seems to be it's a full team confidence. From the forwards to the D to the goaltending and backup, which is fantastic, which is something we haven't had in a while. That full team confidence just hasn't been there. And we have it back. We have it back this year, which is great. And it all starts with the goaltending.
Although they've been doing something lately that drives me absolutely crazy, which is like, oh, let's go down by 2 and then come back and win the game. Let's go down by 2, go ahead and then end up accidentally losing the game in overtime. Let's go down by 1, come back and win the game. Like, they have to. Somebody was like, it's like they got bored and they just want to start testing themselves and they want to go down by multiple goals. You don't. If you remember, Bruce Driver was saying when we had him on the podcast at American Whiskey in Newark, New Jersey, lovely Newark, New Jersey. He was saying that was a recipe for disaster when they were doing that last year in the beginning of the year. When they were winning, it was always like, oh, let's come from behind. We can't. You don't want to see the team get into that groove again because, listen, guys go through cold streaks, and there's sometimes where your offense just dries up, and you can't be down 2-0 in the beginning of the game because then you're playing chase, you're playing catch up the entire game. So you want to see them tighten that aspect of it, up of it. But it just, like we keep saying, the feel of the team of having a goaltender where a breakaway happens and you're not like, damn it, and you're sitting back in your seat waiting for it to go in the back of the net. A 2-on-1 develops and you're like, oh, here we go again. It's like now you're watching goaltending where you're like, wow, okay, all right, make the save, turn it up, go back up the other way, and let's score.
Yeah, you don't want to get into the habit, like you said, of going down early and then having to chase the game. I want to say Florida did that a lot last year, and Florida got out of that by having an offense that could just put half a dozen past the goaltender within a period and a half. But it caught up to them in the playoffs. So the hope is that the coaching staff is seeing this pattern and saying, hey, guys, we cannot allow the first goal. You always want to score the first goal, obviously. And as the goaltender, you want to make sure that you're not letting them score first or at all if you can accomplish that. So you got to assume that in practice that it's something that they're going to be working on, that it's something that they have been discussing. Again, let's not forget this is a very young team, so they're going to go through growing pains. Like we've been really hot recently, and we're going to there's going to be a slide at some point. We're going to lose 2, 3, 4 in a row. at some point, it's just going to happen this season. It's just a matter of how we react to it and how the team reacts to it and how quickly they can dig themselves out of that hole and move forward and get back to winning ways. But eventually it's inevitable that it's going to happen. It's just, you hope that this isn't the beginning of that. And you hope that it's being, one, that it should be being noticed, and two, that it's being addressed and addressed properly as well.
Yeah, you hope so. And it feels like they have the coaching staff in place for it, because you look at the way they're winning these games across the entirety of the year so far, and it's never like, they win, they're one dimensional. Every time they play somebody, the other team, the other coach, the other players are singing the praises of the Devils. Like, they're so fast, they're on top of you before you know what's going on. And a great example of that is the goal that Dawson Mercer had. If you watch that play develop, puck gets dumped in, goes behind the net. Carter Hart goes behind the net to go retrieve it. Wood and Mercer, as you're watching the play, come streaking down the ice, and it's like they just they appear out of nowhere. Wood causes a turnover, Mercer gets it and puts it in. But how fast they come down the ice. And guys like Miles Wood, who in the past might have been, flying down the ice that quick and then smash into the boards or something like that. Now he's got that speed under control. This team is dynamic because they have four lines that could scare the hell out of you. The fourth line isn't going to put up a bunch of points, but they're Miles Wood on the third line. I mean, just the depth of this team is really, really solid. And
Agreed.
Looking at the chat over here on YouTube Live, there was a couple people talking about the possibility of, trading Blackwood for a Bo Horvath or, somebody like that. And it's not, like you were saying with the Canucks, it's not out of the realm of possibility that there is a move. We have to remember that Andre Palat's coming back at some point this season, which is basically like getting a trade acquisition as well.
Yeah,
but
pretty much.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah. But again, like we said earlier, we both alluded to this. Blackwood's got to come back and prove that he can maintain his health, that he is still sharp. So that means he's got to get games. Whether or not he gets a stint down in Utica to prove it, whether he stays up here and fights against, because you got to assume that he's going to have to fight Schmid just for the backup role, and then fight Vanecek just for a starting game, just to start a game.
Wild.
So there's a lot going on there that Blackwood's got to prove himself once again, because in his absence, we've had no, knock on wood.
There's been a lot of that.
We've had a lot of success with our goaltending in his absence. Almost a success that you would hate to change it up just because he returns. Now, if he earns that spot back and he does well, by all means, all right, let's do it. Let's keep it. But he's got to earn that spot.
I don't know if you can. I wonder if you could send him to the AHL for a conditioning stint. I don't know if he's gonna. I don't know if you do that. I forget how it works. Maybe Sam can look this up behind the scenes. If they send him down, he'd have to probably clear waivers to come back up, and good luck, because that's just asking for disaster. I don't know if you can send him down to do a conditioning stint in the AHL and then have him not have to go through waivers to come back. But
I feel like those situations, no one ever. I never remember what they can and can't do as far as getting it.
I know. Healthy competition among those goalies. It's funny. There's a lot of talk. Like I said, a lot of chatter going on in the YouTube live group. Also over in the Facebook live group, a lot of chatter going on in the Twitter group. Listen, you can listen to us on many different platforms, and we appreciate all of you doing so. And one of the common threads that I'm looking through everything is Schmid you can't send him down right now. I mean, the kid's playing out of his mind. He's playing great. Sam said 95% saves or save percentage. God, I can't talk right now. Too excited. But like, you look at what he's doing, this is a tough decision, because Blackwood, it's like, yeah, this was your goal, but sorry, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like that scene in Animal House. They stole our dates.
It's very hard just because Blackwood comes back that you send Schmid down. It would almost be a crime. The competition is fantastic, which is what you want. But at the same time, at what point is one of these guys just sitting there that could be better served somewhere else? It's, again, we're not paid the millions of dollars to make these decisions. We don't have that stress to do that. I'm okay with not having that stress because I have enough stress in my life that doesn't include making goal. Actually, I retired from making goaltending decisions. I wasn't getting paid millions of dollars. Far from it. I was getting paid dollars.
Yeah. Dollars on a cent, for real.
Yes. But it's unfortunately gonna come down to a lot of play that we don't see, because we're not going to see the practice battles. We're not going to see who does well in the inter squad scrimmages at practice. We're not going to see who's we'll get some news and notes about who's first on the ice, who's putting in extra work, but we're not going to see that extra work in the gym. We're not going to see the extra work off ice. We're not going to see the extra work on the ice at practice. So we're going to just have to kind of go with what we're told and what we see on the game ice.
Oh, Sam, stop farting into the microphone.
Okay, I heard that too. I heard that too.
No, it's my.
I know. It's your microphone.
No, because I have my cell phone. Look, I can make. No, it's not happening.
You know what? That reminds me. Actually, speaking of that,
must have been the beans you had before.
That reminds me of and this is gonna really show all of our ages, but that reminds me back in the early 2000s when you knew you were getting a phone call because your computer speakers would start making that. That little rumbling noise. You're like, oh, phone's gonna ring.
Oh, all right. Someone's calling.
Yeah, gotta get off. Gotta get off AIM.
Yeah, gotta get off that 56K baud modem.
Oh, you mean the one I still use?
Oh yeah. Remember those days?
Oh,
everybody, you know what we do? We remember those. I remember having a pager. Not to go off the rails yet, because I'm sure that's bound to happen. But I remember having a pager, and it was like somebody would page you like you're a doctor, and it was like it would be like 911. And you'd have to find a payphone, and you'd have to call. What's going on? And they're like, you want to go hang out? And you're like, awesome. All right, see you in 30 minutes. Like that's what the pager was for.
Cheaper by the beeper. Remember that phrase?
Never had a pager. Yeah. My dad did for business, but I never did.
I had one.
You would have one, Sam.
Hold on 1 second.
All right.
So one of the questions that I have about what's going on right now, but by the way, the Devils the first team to 20 wins this year, sitting atop the NHL.
So crazy.
So wild. So wild. I feel like I was, I hit my head and I'm in a coma somewhere, and they're like, just give them the good memories, like pump them full of whatever to give them the good memories. Mm-hmm. It's crazy to me that this team is winning, and it feels like a lot of people are like, the stars are finally maturing and everybody's like doing the right thing and blah blah blah. I agree, yeah, but the consistency of this team has been incredible. Night in, night out, it feels like no matter what, if they get behind, they stay the course. They play the same way. If they're ahead, they don't panic. They're cool. They they have this like demeanor about them where it's like they're having fun, and winning will do that, right? Winning is going to change the entire chemistry of the locker room, and it's going to make guys want to go in there and put extra time on the ice and stuff like that. But I can't get over how consistent this team has been, and I feel like that was always one of the things we talked about in the past. Like inconsistency was what killed the team before.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels good. Feels good. Feels right. Feels right.
It does. It does. It feels like the late 90s, early 2000s all over again. It's the lack of consistency over the last couple of years. Like it just, at one point we were, what was that back in the John Hines days where he'd put out a starting lineup and then like shuffle all the lines within the first three shifts. That's how far back the inconsistencies have been. But
Only
it just-
drug dealers had pagers, and yeah, that's true.
Oh man, we're taking a deep dive into the dark past of Beer Baron here.
I was never a drug dealer ever, but I think I had. I don't even know how the hell I got one. Somebody's like, "You want a pager?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, bro."
Cheaper by the
You're right.
beeper.
You were not
I
a
don't
drug
remember.
dealer. You were just in a black market businessman.
Yes. I dealt in herbal supplements. Or something.
Oh. But,
Anyways, yeah, go ahead.
I actually we got far off the rails, so I completely forgot what I was.
No, it's sorry.
Consistency. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, just having the consistency, having the fight to be able to like Monday against the Rangers, go down 2 goals, be like, oh crap, and then watch them come roaring back. Which that was a lot of fun being on Hockey Untapped, watching the Devils come roaring back from 2-0 with Billy Dean as my co-host, just looking dejected and miserable.
Oh God.
I love Billy Dean, but it was great to see him be dejected and miserable on Monday night.
They didn't just come roaring back in that game too. That was like a statement game. Like go down 2-0 to the Rangers. The building was getting loud. Something that happened in the Wells Fargo Center last night, or not? Was that last night? God, when the hell was that game? Yeah, last night. That happened at MSG. It was taken over by Devils fans, and it sounded like
Hasn't
a home
happened in
game.
a while.
And let me, yes, seriously, can you think the last time that you listened to a game where they're playing in MSG or Wells Fargo where you hear more of a roar when the Devils score than you do when the home team scores? I can't. I can't.
Yeah, I was
not
gonna
even.
say.
Maybe
Yeah.
2012. 2012.
That
if you really stretch back.
What was that stretch of time where the Rangers just couldn't beat us?
Oh, that was like the early 2000s, like the entire early 2000s.
Late
90s, late 90s, early 2000s, where the Devils just owned, absolutely owned the Rangers. God, I miss those days. But
hey, those days might have returned,
and we hope so. And now they're gonna have a lot. Listen, Fitzgerald has a lot of heavy lifting. There's a lot of things that the team needs to address this offseason. You have a lot of UFAs that are coming off the books. They brought one of them back, and I see the jersey has made an appearance in the background of Sam Wu's studio there. Andreas, don't call me Johnson, is back with the team, although he's kind of like the extra forward because they didn't have an extra forward. And I also I just wanted to say something. Judy in the YouTube live group said, Holtson a number 1 for Horvat. Anyone interested? And I'm going to say no, because I don't want to give up on Holtz and a number 1 unless you know that Horvat is going to sign with you long term. I don't want the Devils to do something stupid and try to go after a rental like a Patrick Kane or a Horvat or a Timo Meier unless you know that person is going to be staying. Because don't mortgage your future to try to capture whatever we have going on right now. Like add to it and then build on it, but don't try to let's jump the gun and let's get rid of pieces. You might need those pieces going forward. Yeah,
it's I like that idea, like you said, if he's going to stay long term. Right now we're playing well, but which can help us get players to sign. But we have to do this consistently, and we have to do this multiple seasons in a row for New Jersey to become a destination for
100%
players. This is a great season right now, but I want to see us do this next year and the year after. You start doing what I know it's a really pie in the sky type of example, but look at what Tampa's done. Like if you go and sign in Tampa, you're the potential's there to win a cup. So my hope is that this is the beginning of a long, consistent winning way here with the Devils. So we just have to, unfortunately, we have to wait and see what next season brings too, and see if they continue this and see how far they get in the playoffs and if they can build on that for next season. So let's enjoy this now, but we have to look forward to saying, all right, well, we have to do this consistently, season in, season out for a couple seasons, and then we can start making these trades, knowing that guys will re-sign here because they know that they have a chance to win here.
Yeah. Sam, I have to step away for a second. My dog is going crazy in the other room, and he's going to start making noise. So I have to do this because Scotty's not here. So Winston is not.
And there he goes.
Yeah, well, we just shut him out. Just you and me, Shorts guy.
Here we go, Sam.
Yeah. So what are we talking about? About Blackwood? I think I don't know. I mean, I guess he's injured. I guess he can do conditioning. I'm assuming that if they were to really, quote unquote, send him down to the AHL level, then he would have to go through waivers. But this is the injury. Does he do some?
See if I can find that up.
Yeah, well, yeah, we shouldn't be doing our fact finding mission on live air, but that's fine.
No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't. But at the same time, it when this kind of comes up in conversation, we don't know. This is actually one of those rules that just confused me.
I'm always confused. I mean, that's the problem with the NHL. They make all the rules so confusing. They're all written by lawyers, and there's always the exception to the rule, and then there's this rule, that rule, and I see Beer Baron's back. We'll make him sweat. We'll make Beer Baron sweat. Now he's coughing. Now he's anxious to get on air. Should we let him on? Shorts guy?
Let's let him on.
Yeah, let him on.
Let's let him on.
All right. You're
man,
back
yeah,
on.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Everything all right?
He's running all around. He's like crazy. He's like, they won. His breed won the Best in Show at the Westminster Dog Show, and now it's all gone to his head. Now he thinks he's too good for us.
Yeah, I honestly thought it was.
He runs around like crazy.
I thought it was Winston's breed, but it turned out that it was actually Archie's breed that won, but with Winston's name. I don't know if you remember in the group text.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to address a few things. First of all, number one, let's get back onto the old topic here. So there's a question that was brought up by Steven.
Hold on.
Okay,
so before we get to that, just since we're sort of on the topic, if I'm reading this article correctly, this is an article from February 2021. That you can send a player down on a conditioning stint or a conditioning loan to the AHL without risking waivers, but it has to be, I guess, titled a conditioning loan for 14 days because they just sent Seattle sent what's his name that they drafted and that kind of fell to them. Was that Shane Wright? They sent him down for a conditioning loan. So I believe, if what I'm reading is correct, if Blackwood needs some games, they can send him down to Utica for a conditioning loan.
Yeah.
And not have to worry about the whole waiver process. Anyway,
and
going back to
that's
what you were saying.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I thought as well. And there's a lot of really good questions that are kind of flowing around the chat and the groups here. One question was how, at the end of the year, if the Devils bring back Bratt, there's a lot of people that are kind of concerned, like, how are they going to be able to pay him more than Jack Hughes? Jack Hughes took such a friendly deal, and I feel like Fitzgerald did such a magnificent job of basically catching Jack in a moment where Jack hasn't reached any potential yet. And he was kind of like in this like little floundering moment where he wasn't putting up numbers like he thought he would. And he was still, he's still young, so he's still growing. Mm-hmm. And he signed a deal that was insanely friendly to the team.
You know how it happened, right?
How did it happen?
Jack has a freak injury, second game of the season with his shoulder, I believe. Was his shoulder? Yeah. And then Fitzy, while he's on the IR, Fitzy's like, hey, I know your shoulder, you're banged up. Just make sure your arm can sign at the bottom, of this contract.
Yeah.
And then voila, he comes back. Remember when he came back? He signed an 8-year deal, like when he came back last season.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Hey,
Jack's
however-
back. For 8
however
years.
it happened, however he did that. Tom Fitzgerald, dude, everybody crapped on Tom Fitzgerald for the last couple of years. You look at the lineup that this dude has put together. You look at some of the pieces that he's gotten, like Marino for Ty Smith and a 3rd overall pick, Vanecek, Siegenthaler. He's brought it, like, say what you want, but Dougie Hamilton coming here, that doesn't happen unless the GM sits down and convinces him to come here. Andre Palat, like, he's put together such a solid roster. And in my opinion, a lot of the moves that, Ray Shero did to put the team into like a better place. When we had Taylor Hall, Scotty says it all the time, like, it felt like Ray Shero was pressured to try to win now. And Fitzgerald came in, cleaned up a lot of the mess, took the framework of what Shero was trying to do, and just made it better. Basically, it was like, oh, I like what you're doing. It's like building a car. Like, oh, all right, this is pretty good, but you know what? I'm going to take this engine out. I'm going to put in a new one. I'm going to take out, the whole suspension. We're going to redo it. So it's basically the same thing, but, a hell of a lot better. He's underratedly been doing an amazing job. And there's Devil fans that are still like, oh, Fitzgerald's terrible. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's the worst GM. And it's like you really have to look at the bigger picture. Because, yes, he did go after Goudreau, and Goudreau said no. Goudreau said no for whatever reason. He said no, right? Who cares? At this point, yes, we were all upset when it happened. Yeah,
but
it sucked.
That's the best thing that happened to us, though.
Yeah.
The only move, 100%. The only move that I wish he would have been able to figure out and pull the trigger on is bringing Tkachuk here. That is the only move that I wish would have worked out. Because Tkachuk is...
It would have...
I still feel like one of the pieces that this team could desperately use, somebody who could score, somebody who's got an edge to him, somebody who's tough. Tkachuk to me would have been the absolute perfect fit for this team, but things don't happen for a reason. And look, we're doing fine without him. So
they didn't have the pieces, unfortunately. I mean, what Florida gave up was significant. I mean, you would
100%.
You would have to fork over Heischer Hughes in that deal in order to get something, and I don't think that would even have got it done.
And Calgary had to go. Calgary had to get a king's ransom in return for if they were going to lose Goudreau and Tkachuk, they were going to need a king's ransom in return for Tkachuk leaving. Otherwise, their fan base would have just lost their collective minds.
Especially when they're trying to get a new arena on top of everything else.
Why? The Saddle Dome's fine.
I do love the Saddle Dome. I will say this. I say that. I do love the Saddle Dome.
I've never been, and it's actually one of the ones that I really want to go to. I would love to go to Toronto this year and watch are the Devils playing Toronto at all anymore this year?
I don't know. But if you're going to Calgary, bring a sump pump with you.
I will say this.
It's a weird thing to bring.
This is breaking news that Sam doesn't even know about. This is breaking news that Sam doesn't even know about. And there will be a podcast, a potential podcast, quick podcast with the Hockey on Tap guys. We are in the works of putting together a trip to a Western Conference home game.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
That'd be pretty wild.
Uh-huh.
Whoa.
And we were talking last night that we should potentially because the 4 of us for Hockey and Tapped are going to be there.
Is this in January?
It's in January.
And have you told Scotty yet?
I have not told.
Dude's breaking news. Didn't you hear him say it's breaking news?
It means it's in the planning.
Well, I thought maybe you've leaked it to him. I mean,
I haven't.
You know how breaking news leaks. Suddenly the janitor of this arena says that Goudreau's not coming to the Devils.
Details are forthcoming. I haven't even purchased a flight yet, but we're looking to go to a Western. We're looking to attend a Western Conference team, probably one you wouldn't guess, but
Seattle.
We're looking to go to a Western Conference team, and details will be forthcoming. But Sam, we may have to have an opportunity to do a bit of a impromptu live on the scene podcast.
I have family in Seattle.
Same here. If you need anywhere,
Well,
Yeah.
you're just gonna have to find out. You're gonna have to find out.
it's probably Seattle.
Anyway, sorry.
No, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. And you know what's funny is I was just looking at the schedule and I was trying to figure out if they don't play any more games in Toronto this year. I actually was thinking about it towards the beginning of the year. I was like, damn, I would love to go to a Devils Toronto Maple Leafs game up in Toronto, go to the Hockey Hall of Fame. I've never done that before, and that's on my bucket list of things and places I want to go.
We got a friend up there.
I was going to say, yeah.
We do. And who offered us a free tour.
Yeah.
The better tour.
Yeah, the in-person, the behind-the-scenes, pull the curtain back kind of tour. But
Hey, Phil, can I wear your white gloves?
Yeah, I'll bring my own white gloves. So I could just oh, look at this. But there's a couple games of places that I would love to go. A lot of people are chiming in. Colorado, he's sure worth more than Florida package to Alberta. Yeah, that's true too. If you could pick three games, I would love to go to Seattle just because it's a new arena. I have family out there, so it'd be cool to visit and do that. But my brother has a hockey tournament that weekend, so unfortunately it's not in the cards. But if you could pick three places, your top three that you would love to go see a hockey game at, what three would those be?
In general, or like the Devils going out there?
Ooh, Nashville would be cool.
Like,
my goodness,
or you haven't
Nashville.
been there? Like,
haven't been there.
Haven't been there.
You could, or if you want to go back, or you could go because I've never been to Montreal.
Oh,
I'd love
that's
to
great.
See Montreal.
That's
yeah.
great.
I've been to a game. I saw
hot
Canadians
dogs are great.
Caps.
Hot dogs are great there.
Huh.
Dude, oh my goodness is saying he's putting together a meetup down in Nashville.
Nashville's a good time.
That would be a hell of a time to go down there and watch a game.
Nashville's a real good time. Let's see. Three places I'd like to go see a game. I'm gonna say
I like to go to Arizona in that
and go back to college.
Yeah, go back to college.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind one game there.
Judy just said the same thing.
Yeah.
Max. All right, Max just said Montreal, Toronto, and Vegas. Vegas would be fun, but that'd be fun like pre and post game.
Pre, during, and post.
Yeah. How was the game? I don't know. We're in the hole big time. Like somebody's gonna have to drive home. This is bad.
I'd love to go see a game at Edmonton.
Yeah.
Would be
or
cool.
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg is on a list as well.
Now, why Winnipeg though? Why Winnipeg? Because
it's the middle of nowhere.
There's nothing really around Edmonton or Winnipeg. I hear is like, it's not like there's a happening nightlife. Like, leave the arena and you're like, let's go hit the bar. Yeah, I know.
They support their teams. Where else would I want to go?
I wouldn't mind going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I wouldn't mind going to. God, I don't know. LA and San Jose don't really do anything for me. I don't really like the Shark Tank. Like, is kind of cool, but I don't really have a desire to go out there. Boston. Dave Singer says Boston.
I've been there. I've seen a game in Boston.
Didn't we go together, Shorts Guy? We went to the penalty box. Was that like years ago?
No, we didn't go to. I don't think we went together. Jeez. I wouldn't mind going to see a game down in Sunrise. A Panther
Joseph
game.
wants to go to a game in New Jersey with my daughter. We've been taking trash talking from Dallas fans in Dallas for years. Joseph, if you ever find your way out to New Jersey, you let us know. We'll try to make something happen. Can't make any promises. I don't want to make any promises because I can't promise anything. But if you ever make it out here,
just let us know.
Let us know. Well, I don't want to promise somebody something, and he's like, "Hey, we're going to Jersey next weekend," and I'm like, "Oh, well, you're on your own. Well, welcome to our beautiful state. What do you want me to tell you? Try the bagels; they're fantastic. I don't know. Denver would be cool. Nashville,
Yeah, Colorado would be
Vegas.
cool.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Denver would be. Colorado would be cool. Nashville would be. I think Nashville's got to be top 5.
I've been to Nashville for soccer, and I've been to Colorado for soccer, so I would love to go out there for a Devils game.
And it's, I feel like I would want to go somewhere too. Like I can't go somewhere that's like a rival. I would never go to Columbus because, for obvious reasons, Columbus sucks. I would never go to. Actually, Columbus is a cool city. I hear it's a very nice place to live. If you're, you don't want to be close enough
Just
to your
a bunch
friends.
of Ohio State.
You don't want your
fans.
friends like coming in and like hanging out. And you want to like live far enough away from home, but like close enough to home. Oh, I sound like some scummy, douchey, whatever. Anywho's, but I wouldn't want to go to a rivalry game because I want to like be able to enjoy it and not have people like give me a hard time. I hear going to certain places, like I hear going to Edmonton is actually really cool because everybody's super nice to you. Like if you're not like from Calgary or something like that.
Yeah, if you're not on the other side of Alberta.
Yeah.
You know what we should do?
That train station in New York City.
We should next year. We should organize a garden invasion. Very discreetly.
Yeah.
Very discreetly. Just buy up the tickets behind the Rangers bench or Devils bench, and just very discreetly, so the Rangers don't see.
Kind of like that. Kind of like that time that there was an invasion and there was a guy in a bunch of goalie gear.
You were there. Were you there with Mesmer? No, you weren't.
I was not.
Oh.
I was not.
That's probably that story is probably one of the craziest stories. When I went in with the goalie gear at Madison Square Garden, and in order to do it, of course, Mesmer.
Oh. Evan says everybody in Ottawa is very nice.
Yeah, they're pretty nice over there. That the only way I could sit was to sit in handicap. So he was able to get me those tickets to sit right there because there's no way I could
History,
sit.
Alaska. Beautiful view, eh? Yeah, dude, that whole story is pretty epic. I do want to address something else. Kyle just came in and said, sorry, just got here. Not sure if he talked about it, but does Janssen go in for Holtz? That's a tough question. I don't know if you want to put Janssen into the lineup and you want to take Holtz out because he did score a goal the other night against Nashville. I think you want to give him time, man. Just give him some time. I know he needs to work on his skating, but just give him some time and kind of and let him mature. He's got to fight. He's got to be in the lineup to be able to like prove himself. I
want to play Johnson.
But you can't keep taking a kid in and out of the lineup. You're going to stunt his growth at some point doing that crap.
Got to play Johnson because eventually you're going to have to flip him in a trade somewhere. You have to play him.
Yeah, well, you have to play both of them. But if we all want to see Holtz in the lineup, he's got to earn his way into the lineup. He's got to stay in the lineup. A goal against Nashville is great. That's great for confidence. But
didn't he take a bad penalty yesterday?
That's a good question. I wasn't able to actually watch that game.
He was benched the entire third period. Holtz was, but I mean that also could be. Holtz and Sharangovich are slow players. That's why they got benched. The kind of way the game was unfolding was not in the Devils' favor and wasn't playing out in a way that they've been playing, other games. They were being outshot. They were playing more of a physical game. So I don't know. But by the way, Sam, this is directly at you. Max said, next Winter Classic or Stadium Series, we need to organize something, please. And can I ask you gentlemen a question? If the Devils keep playing this way, and if they still, let's say next year they go from this and they're playing at the top of the league again, is it time to start the conversation that the Devils might be of interest in being in one of these Stadium Series games again? Because you got the Jack Hughes. Listen, ESPN loves him. They want to push an American player. They love Zegras. They love Jack Hughes. So could the Devils be making their way into an outdoor game?
The only way that happens is if they play another big market team like the Rangers or Toronto or
Giant Stadium.
Giant Stadium.
It's all about TV, boys.
That would
it's
be
all about
great.
TV ratings.
Devils Rangers at Giant Stadium or MetLife. I mean, it's always going to be Giant Stadium, but Devils Rangers at Giant Stadium, I think would be fantastic.
Devils Nashville. What a weird, and the only reason I'm saying that is because of how New Jersey almost got moved to Nashville.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody in the world would go for that. But
what about Devils Flyers down at the link?
Ugh. No, can it be a home? Can it be a home game for us, please? Can we please be at
nice.
Giant Stadium?
Oh, could you imagine the tailgate we would have if the Devils played in the Meadowlands again?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Start at like 5 in the morning.
Sam,
I'd start 2 days prior.
We'd have to do a keg, like we did for Danico night.
Oh
my god!
Those tailgates were epic back in the Meadowlands.
Oh my gosh!
Everything about
every game
everything
too.
except for the drive home was epic about the Meadowlands. Everything except for the drive home. The walk through the tunnel after they won a big game. Your ears would ring. Your ears would ring after that. Like
Move.
It just. Oh god!
Did I ever tell you guys the story of how someone that people basically punched out one of those panels after the Devils won the cup?
Yeah, I think you told that one before.
All right, I told you.
No, you can no. You can say it again.
All right. That's as we were leaving. What was it? Brendan Byrne at the time, I guess, 95. As we were going up the tunnel, you just heard guys bashing the side on the ramp going up. And just boom, boom, and a large crash, and everyone cheering because they were hanging outside of it. And they were like, everyone outside was cheering, everyone inside was cheering. They just punched out one of those sheet metal side panels.
Back in the 90s, that tunnel, the bridge was made out of wood, if I'm not mistaken. Like you could see the cars under you.
Yeah, you could, and that thing would shake. It would violently shake. And what's crazy is like younger Devils fans will never have the experience of like tailgating in the parking lot before a game. They'll never have the experience of walking that tunnel and like
double fisting on the shuttle bus.
Oh my god! Like that experience alone. I like just going to a game back in the day was like it was an adventure in itself. But I mean, not to take anything away from the Rock because I love the Rock, but there was just some like nostalgic things about going to the games in the Meadowlands. But that drive home sucked. Oh god, did that suck! And then like you had to wait forever in a parking lot, and either you were hanging out or you like would get in your car to try to beat the traffic, and you never beat the traffic. You just
I used to direct traffic after the game. For fun.
That's why you always brought an extra beer or two for after the game, so that you didn't have to sit in that damn traffic.
Yeah, we always like, I think we always hung out for like an hour afterwards, after the game, just BSing, fire up the grill again. I mean those were some good times, but that tunnel going from
God damn, that thing was so much fun.
Just banging on it and chanting "Let's go Devils."
But what's replaced that, which I absolutely love, is if you go out to the Rock now and you go into the street right next to the arena, and when it's the way the team's been playing, it's been packed every home game. It's been so much fun to live in a different moment of this team. Yeah. Like the winning is. I was out today. We were at a kid's birthday party. Actually, our good friend John, it was his son's birthday party, and our future Devils defenseman. It was a little Sammy's party, and we went out. We were bowling. I was rocking my Heischer jersey, which I still am. And like randomly, like a few people were like, "Yeah, let's go! Like, let's go Devils!" And like someone walked up and were like, "Dude, I love your jersey," and blah blah blah. He's my favorite. I've told you before, like it's. We always wear our Devils gear when we go around, right? But now, like, other people are recognizing, like, oh yeah, let's go, like, start saying things, and it just feels good. As a fan, like, it feels so good to just smile and be like, yeah, hell yeah, like, this is awesome.
I had something similar last night wearing my hat at the show I went to. It's nice to start getting those compliments and that recognition back. You know, now that the team, I mean, we've never given up on this team, but now that the team is doing well, everyone's coming out of the woodwork, and yeah, you can say what you want about that, but it's just good to just get that recognition about people are getting excited about this team again, which is everything that we've wanted in the last couple of years. All the crap that we've gone through, it's definitely making it all worth it.
Yeah, dude, it's just like the vibe of this team, like. Jack Hughes waving to the crowd after he scored that goal in Philadelphia. And you know, he's waving to like the section of Devil fans that were like right down low. But like, it's fun to watch. It's great to, like, you know, you walk around and you see another Devils fan and you're not like, oh, let's commiserate in the misery of like what's going on this season. It's like, damn, you watched that game last night? Like, oh my God, like, oh, you see what happened? You know, like, you get so pumped up about it. You know, like, no offense, I look forward to our podcast every Sunday, but especially this year, like, it got to a point where, you know, we went through a stretch where we're just like, all right, well, I don't even know what the hell we're going to talk about. They're losing again. Yeah. And I guess we'll just make something up, and I'll say something stupid, and we'll laugh for a little bit, and then we'll call it a night.
You know,
now it's like, you talk about the team winning. You're talking about, like, all the different, you know, all the different aspects, all the different ways that they're winning. And then it's like, all right, shoot, man, we might be looking to add a piece at the trade deadline, and it's like, well, what could we add to this team that's going to make it better? Like,
we'll be a buyer, not a seller.
Exactly, but you brought up a great point before. Like, what could you add that's going to help the chemistry of this team and not hurt it? You know what I mean? Like, it's a fun conversation to have, because it's like, all right, you know, like, this team's going to do some damage, and you know, as long as everything, knock on wood, keeps going the way it's going. They might be. We might be wearing shorts like you going to the arena in late April and early May, and maybe hell, even to late May into early June.
Hey, I'm happy with that.
Well, I guess this would be a next segues to appearances. I'll be at American Whiskey on Tuesday for the Devils take on the Chicago Blackhawks. Also doing Devils After Dark. Then Friday, December 9th, which is Chico and Nico bobblehead all day. Vinny Parisi, it'll be his birthday, and he will be on location at American Whiskey December 9th.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
And December 12th, the new one, we're going to start promoting that. Arlette wants to have a watch party. Devils Rangers, Stagehouse Tavern, Route 22 in Mountainside in Union County. We'll have more information about that. Going to be on the ground there for both Game Day Live and Devils After Dark. Vinny Parisi was surprised with Devils Rangers tickets. He's never been to New Jersey or New York, being from Chicago. And he's going to the game, and he's going to try to do the Game Day Live from American Whiskey outside of Madison Square Garden, their New York version of American Whiskey. So that should be kind of neat. So look out for that. So if you're in either location, Stagehouse Tavern in Mountainside, New Jersey on Route 22 in Union County, or American Whiskey in New York City, go visit. Have a good time. Then we can plan our invasions. You know, I love being on the road and taking over buildings. I mean, that is the best. I mean, I remember back in the early 2000s where we would go into Madison Square Garden, just absolutely take over the building. Just take it over. You know, people yell stuff at you and all that. Like the Ranger fans, like some of the things that they tell you, it's like, you got to be kidding me. It's like all this, you know, Long Island tough talk. Oh, you got no fans. You don't even fill out your own building.
Dude, it's the stupidest conversation I've ever heard. Yeah. I hate that conversation so much. It's like your attendance is like the trap. Like, enough already.
Mm-hmm.
The trap. That's why you guys won. Brodeur's so overrated. Blah, 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 blah. Shut up. Just shut up. All you do is you stink of loser. That's it. Your cologne, it smells.
Yeah, go back to your parking lot.
Yeah, I'll go back to my parking lot with my 3 cups. How about that? I'll
Yeah.
enjoy that. I'll go hang out with the winningest goalie in the entire NHL history. And he also has the most shutouts. I'll go into a winning culture. That's why, dude, if this team listen, Devils fans have been getting pushed around and kicked around for the last 10 years. And damn it, it's time to stand up. And if we're going to get into a winning team, that jersey bravado is going to be obnoxious. There's certain personalities out there that call us scumbag fans and blah, 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 because the whole throwing stuff on the ice. We're not the first fan base to do it, and we're not the last fan base to do it. It's happened before. The Ranger fans did it last year, and I don't hear them being called a bunch of scumbags. So I'm pumped, man. I want this team to just keep this rolling. Let's keep this rolling. Let's get that pride back into this team. We are Jersey's only team. And if you're from the state and you root for a different team, I never could understand that. Have a little pride in your team. Have a little pride in your state. This should have been my last thought.
Well, we can make it.
About it. Make it my last thought. In fact, it is my last thought of the podcast. Here's what I'm going to say. Have pride in this team, dude. Have pride in this team. Be proud to wear your Devils hat. Be proud to wear your Devils jersey. Go out there. Rep this team. See other Devil fans in the mall. You call across the mall. Yo, what's up? Don't be douchey. Just be proud. That's it. I used to tell my kids when I used to coach hockey, there's a difference between being cocky and, just being proud of what you're doing. You could go out there and you could be cocky and you can get your ass kicked. But if you go out there and you're just proud of what you do, you hold yourself the right way, it shows. But anyways, so be proud. Be proud.
Is that your final thought?
That's my final thought. My final long, rambling thought. Yeah.
Shorts guy.
Final thought is just win this week. Between now and next Monday, we got 2 games that are divisional games we have to win. So just keep winning and start scoring first again, and don't stop chasing the game. We'll leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
I love these road invasions by Devils fans, and I think it's going to be contagious. Like in other sports, you got the Mets and the 7 line; they do their thing, but it's just a beautiful thing when Devils fans can go on the road and just take over a building, both on the ice and off the ice, and I think that's pretty cool. But just remember, when you go in another team's building, you still have to be somewhat respectful. Just cheer for your team. That's it. Just cheer for your team. None of the other
talks trash to you. Yeah, if somebody talks trash to you, you just be like, all right, you just keep doing this. We'll keep winning.
Yeah, and then just chant "Let's go Devils" even louder. That's all.
Yeah, and when people talk trash, that's a good thing. That means we're doing good.
Yeah.
So when people are talking trash to you, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have a podcast one day of survival skills on the road. Don't turn around.
Oh. By the way, I used to tell the kids there's a difference between being cocky and confident. That's what I used to tell them. Not proud, but you can be proud, but cocky and confident. Confident, you know what you're doing. Cocky, you don't know what you're doing. You get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
And I'm on that note.
Be confident.
Want to thank all those listening in, dropping the podcast at midnight. Watch out for all the podcasts this week. It's going to be a big week, Devils hockey. Plus, we have State of the Fan address this Wednesday. So till next time, let's go Devils.